Hello and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the CoEs Couch podcast. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Freddie. I'm the editor for the podcast. You can find me right here. And I'm here at the start of this episode just to let you know that for this week's episode, we decided to do something a little bit different. We decided that we'd release a vaulted episode of the podcast, which we recorded last October 2023 with Gregor, one of our students, and joined with him we had the incredible Ehsan Javaid, also known as DREAL. He's the head coach of the New York Subliners Call of Duty team, and he was in the College of Esports delivering our students a talk on his experiences within the esports industry, and then this podcast was recorded straight after for you. But it is why what you'll find is a lot of the information in this podcast is outdated. It was recorded 4 months ago before the release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and this season of the Call of Duty League. So I'm just here to preface that so you understand why everything seems a bit out of place. But without further ado, hope you enjoy the episode.
Do you think you guys are going to be the number one contenders again this year?
We have to think that. Never let anyone tell you no.
Yeah.
The only person's opinion that matters is yours. There was this massive chip on my shoulder. I failed as a player, so I want to deal with that chip. I don't want to be a failure. This guy comes in and he makes me realize that this is why I want to do what I do. He makes you want to work hard for that. He makes you want to die for the guy. I want to succeed in everything. And I didn't expect so many students for esports, so it's good to see that it's certainly growing.
What do you want to achieve this year with the team?
Win everything.
Yeah.
Win everything that is the goal.
Okay. All right. Let's start this off. All right, guys. Welcome to the London Legion podcast. Today I'm here with DREAL, the New York Subliners head coach. Could you just introduce yourself then?
You've done a fantastic job introducing myself. No, yeah, appreciate you having me on. I'm not sure which camera I'm meant to be looking at. I'm looking at that one there.
Who knows?
Yeah, no. Name is Ehsan Javaid. I am the head coach and general manager of the 2023 defending world champions in New York Subliners. God, it feels so good to say.
It does. It just rolls off the tongue.
It feels amazing to say. And I'm here with you brilliant students at the College of Esports.
Oh, I should probably introduce myself as well. I am Gregor McGregor. That's a great Scottish name. And I am one of the students here at College of Esports, and I am studying events management. And Call of Duty is my preferred esport. So if you just tell us a little bit of how your experience has gone today at the college?
I think my experience has been fantastic. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't expecting so many people to be at the PowerPoint and the presentation.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect so many students for esports. So it's good to see that it's certainly growing year over year at least. And it's amazing to see and how passionate everyone is for esports. You know, the different facets of esports, marketing, business, people who want to coach, people that want to do various different things.
Well, I think when the Discord notification goes out and it says, head coach of a world championship team, I think that entices people, definitely.
I don't know. Give me far too much credit.
You've got to give credit where it's due. So if you just tell me a bit more on how you got yourself involved with esports, how did it all start?
Wow. I started off gaming casually, like everyone does. It started off with the Nintendo 64. One absolute cracking piece of tech that was
a classic.
Wow, and I fell in love with gaming. So my dad bought a Nintendo 64. I had F1 on there, I had Banjo-Kazooie, I had GoldenEye, Turok. Wow, memories. And that started my love for gaming. Then managed to get a PlayStation 1, slowly progressing. Went to a PlayStation 2, and then I was a PlayStation kid. I didn't move over to Xbox, so when the war was happening, you play PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation guy myself as well.
Yeah. PlayStation for a very long time, and then got into... Actually, I played a game called Ghost Recon. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have, yeah.
So that's where my esports journey started. So we started on Advanced Warfare. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. That's what it was called. And there was a ranked mode at the time. And at the time, I wanted to... Online was starting to become a thing. Free. It was free play online on PlayStation, and I was competing on the ranked play against different players. And whenever I used to get smoked by the higher tier, the higher skilled players, they had a bio attached to their profile, like in game, and in that bio it said GameBattles.com.
Oh,
right. That's why I think everyone that gets into esports starts off with Game Battles and MLG. Yeah. And so I looked at it and I thought, right, I've had enough of getting smoked. Let me see what this Game Battles is. I'm going to try and abuse this guy. I'm going to try and troll him. It turned out Game Battles was a whole different website.
it is, yeah.
And yeah, I signed up to Game Battles, and then they had games like SOCOM, I think it was called, then Call of Duty, your FIFAs, stuff like that. And went over to the PlayStation 3. With the PlayStation 3 came Call of Duty 4 and then Call of Duty World at War. So I had both. I didn't get it when the Call of Duty 4 came out. It was when World at War came out. From there, I had a bit of experience on Game Battles, competing on that. I had an account and everything. And I started to play Game Battles from there. Competing, trying to get, competitive COD with Game Battles was very fun to do, very enticing, meeting new people, teaming with new people, stuff like that. Started doing that, and then competed on Game Battles, and then I found out people actually got paid to play.
Oh.
When you're young at the time, people ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? I ain't got a clue.
Exactly.
I had no idea. I'm going to do whatever my mum and dad say I'm going to do. I want to be a lawyer, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when I started to play and compete, I thought, God, you can get paid? I want to do this. This sounds like a dream. And then started to attend events, EGLs, iSeries, stuff like that. All the way through Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, going to different events, different countries to play, getting paid to play. And then, Infinite Warfare, went to the World Championships, which is like the pinnacle of esports. Yeah. World War II did the same thing. And then after World War II, going into Black Ops 4, is when I decided that I don't want to compete anymore. I've put far too much time in. I'm getting older. I want to do different things. I have to be real with myself. This isn't going to work. Went back to university and then started to coach. Came back as a coach in Challengers, which is the tier 2. And then from there, got an opportunity with the pro team.
It's some story, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Me personally, I was, like you said, the PS1, the PS2. I started on a GameCube, actually. Yeah, that was my first console when I was, must have been still on all fours, to be honest.
On Mario Kart.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
GameCube.
Mario Kart. Oh, yes. But no, my first big Call of Duty was my dad bought the PS3, and along with that came the release of Modern Warfare 2. Mm-hmm. 8-year-old me was sneaking out my bed at 6 a.m. just so I could get an hour on that game.
Wow.
But no, that's some story you've got so far. I'd like to know a little bit more of what your typical work-life day is.
Right.
As a coach, coaching players that some might have massive egos, some that might just listen. How do you balance that with your work life?
I'll explain to you what my typical day looks like now as a head coach. I'm at the office first. I have to be at the office 9:30. What I'm doing when I get there is I'm doing any of the housekeeping tasks, any of the admin stuff, anything that's on the agenda. And then I'm preparing for the day, either by looking at the previous day's goals, lessons, VODs, whatever it is, and then determining, okay, this is who we play. Based on who we play and what kind of practice can we get, based on the practice we can get, what do we want to work on? This is what we want to focus on. This is what we want to work on. And then the guys, I'm doing that until maybe 11:45. The guys then get in. And then we do an hour of preparation, hour of VOD, whatever I've chosen, collaborating with my strategic coach, collaborating and saying, okay, what do we want to do? What direction do we want to go? And this is the VOD session. We'll lead the VOD session, and then have that done. And then you get into the scrim blocks. We have 2 scrim blocks, each run for 2 hours. So we'll have scrim block 1. We'll have everything associated with that. The different methods we use, the different focus methods, reflection, stuff like that. Then we'll have a bit of a break to reset the focus, get the energies back up. Second block, and then after the second block, dependent on the day, we might either do a team activity or we might have a third block. Or we might have a reflection session to then end the day off, and it just depends really on the day.
Do you just bouncing off of you here. Do you believe VOD reviewing is like a big part
Yes.
of improving?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We did VOD review nearly every single day last season. It's very important to do. Not only are the guys, they can feel where they need to improve in the moment, but to then visualize it and promote neuroplasticity and information retention in the moment is very important, because then once they visualize that, they can implement that in different situations and they can see it. Because COD is very linear. You'll get into the same situations more often than not. It's not like, say, like a League of Legends where there's different metas and different all of these different nuances. COD is very much straightforward in that regard. So when you're playing, you will get into these same situations for the most part, wave by wave, what you're picking up, what you're flowing. What does the flow look like? What does, a potential break look like? What do, stuff like that. Very linear compared. And so that helps visualize that.
I've got a bit of a spicy question for you.
Yeah.
How do you, when it comes, you said you've got your 2 scrim blocks.
Mm-hmm.
What if somebody on the team that you're meant to be scrimming just decides, you know what, I don't want to play today? How do you deal with that? Do you put something else in place?
If we can, yes. That's happened a few times, because obviously if you've got an emergency, if something's happening, you can't blame them. So you look for a replacement, if possible, by maybe challengers, or maybe another pro team. If someone else, that's very rare. So challengers is most likely the case. If not, there will be a VOD session based on what we need to work on, based on prep, based on anything in the moment, on the day, or a team event, whether we go out for team dinner or movies or whatever.
Do you think facing challengers teams in scrims improves them because of how different the play style can be between challengers and the Pro League?
Yes and no. Depends on the type of challenges. So challenges is a lot different to the Pro League. For one, we play on a different patch.
Exactly.
So our spawns are different, and then when the spawns are different, your timings are different, your flow is different, all of these different things, nuances with that. But then also, we also then play on a different hertz.
Yeah.
Right. So we play on a more true to LAN game. Right. I think you guys play on the publics, which is like 24 hertz or something like that.
Yeah, we play 24.
We play on 60.
Which is just unreal.
And that in itself changes how the game is played.
Yeah.
Certain things you can't challenge, certain gunfights you can challenge, the speed of the game. The guns almost feel stronger. Hit reg almost feels better because the hertz are higher, which then changes the way you use your teamwork and slows it down and so on and so on. So yes and no. But some of the top challengers were ex-players.
Yeah.
So they have that the ideology and the mindset of how they played in the pro scene, and they just translate that to challengers. But then obviously the players who have never had pro experience play a lot differently to the actual pros. They're a lot more confident, a lot more aggressive, a lot less teamwork orientated and more individual orientated. More solo plays, more hero plays. Best way I can describe it is, for the most part in the CDL, pro players are trying to play chess, and there's an emphasis on teamwork with the top teams, for the most part. Obviously, you can have your exceptions. And challengers is more checkers. It's more, how can I get a 2-piece, a 3-piece? How can I, do individual plays? Yeah. They're not thinking so macro. They're more micro.
I think one of the big things in challengers is everybody's trying to focus and play for themselves.
Yes.
Because they want that opportunity to get to the Pro League.
Yep.
Whilst you're in the Pro League, you want to perform as well as you can, but you also want the team to succeed, so you play more, like you said, chess rather than checkers.
You are spot on. In challenges, you are playing for a spot, so you are going to play individual. Yeah. And to be honest, I don't really mind that, because if you're good in challenges, and COD fundamentally is a game about killing. You win your gunfights, you kill, you make the kills, that's good. The macro element, the teamwork element, you have good enough coaches, or you're on the same page, you can teach that. Now, it's going to take the player to get rid of his ego. That's hard to do.
That is hard.
That is very hard to do. When you're getting 2-3 pieces, 40 bombs every map, and now you're dying, you're going in first, you're dying, just so your teammate behind you can get trade, map position, stuff like that. It's very hard to do. This is where I give credit to Hydra. Hydra started off as that very flashy, individual, 3-piece, 4-piece kind of player. As he's matured, and it comes with experience, the more time you're in the Pro League, the more you understand you're thinking 2 steps ahead. You're thinking overall teamwork fundamentals, macro level. If I die here, I may not necessarily get the kill, but if that sets up my teammate to then get a trade to get the kill, and then put him in a better position to then open up a break or open up map control, something like that. So then you start thinking like that.
Yeah. I think if we stick on Hydra here for a little bit, he, like you said, has matured a lot from when he first started. But I also think that even though he has matured and he does play a lot slower than he used to, he still has those flashy plays and he still can perform to an extreme level. So I don't actually think he's lost a lot of himself. He's just improved so much that he can still perform.
That's a mistake in my opinion. I think coaches make in sports in general and esports. You can have a certain way of playing, you can have certain structure, but what you don't want to do is you want to put a leash on players. Remember, these players are way more talented than we are. If they play 100% of how we want them to play, they're only as good as our skill and our ideology. You have to, as the games change year over year, things are going to change from the last time you played, right? That's how esports progresses. That's how sports progresses. What worked about 6-7 years ago, that style of play, may not work now, won't certainly work now. So you need to give these younger players the ability to play to their talent. That's how you use talent, right? Now, you have to balance it. And that's the tricky thing about coaching, and that's where you have collaboration and techniques and all that sort of stuff, where you can say, okay, you've gone out to try and get a 2-3 piece, but do you think this was good? Do you think this was bad? What's the fundamentals behind it? What's the teamwork behind it? So the overall core message of teamwork is there, but you give players the ability to pop off and do that sort of stuff.
I think you do have those type of players, and there's the flow state. Players like to call it.
Hate that word.
It's just, but when a player does, like you say, achieve flow state, I feel like they're unstoppable on the map. Like they're getting the perfect timings, they're running around, and they're just. When a player gets that mid game, I honestly feel like it's just over for the other team. So moving on, how do you deal with stress in esports and out of it?
Few different ways, to be honest. I've had a lot of stress because of esports, especially when something goes from your hobby to your job. Naturally, there's a lot of stress that comes with that. For one, self-reflection is a big one. So being grateful and being humble for what you have. You know, as much as you guys have made me feel like a rock star here, I'm not used to that. I don't particularly like. It's not something I'd crave for. It feels good, but then it makes you realize, you know, you're humble for it. It shows a bit of humility. So that's one. Yes, there's stress that comes with esports, but I'm in a position to do what I love, right? And it'd be the same for if I did cancer research or whatever. And then there's also what I've started to do this season is active techniques to deal with stress. There's ways that you can relax based on how you identify what stresses you have, the different types of stresses, your reactions to stresses, de-stress, eustress, all of these different things. You can figure that out, and you can figure out what relaxation techniques work for you. So for me, meditation's a big one, visualization's a big one, going to the gym is a big one. I when I'm stressed, I go to the gym at the end of the day, 5 times a week. I do that because it helps me deal with the stress. All I can do is focus on my weights, focus on if I'm benching, focus on that. I don't have to deal with no other shit. And I think a big one is also having a boundary. So esports is 24/7, right? But you can still implement boundaries from this is when I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to do anything esports related. You need that because as much as esports is a hobby for most of us, when it becomes your job, you're doing it every single day. You're doing it every single day.
It's all right. It happens.
You're as much as esports is a hobby, you're doing that every single day, and you lose. There's a blurred line for that. You kind of lose that love for it because it now becomes a job, and that's where you, as like you would in any job, you need to have boundaries from your work, and you need to have a different environment to relax, and that's how I kind of deal with it.
Yeah, it's finding that point where you can just switch off and do something else that's outside of it. Like you said, the gym. You mentioned cancer research. I do know that you have a degree. How about you? Can you give me a little bit more on that? And like, why did you go to esports over pursuing a career in that?
Yeah. So I went back to university to complete my medical degree. I specialised in cancer research, more specifically advanced therapies to deal with cancer. I've always had this selfish view that one day that maybe I could be one of the reasons why we can eradicate cancer for good.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did cancer in particular, because it all started from when I went back to university. I went on this whole self-improvement grind. I don't think I even showed the pictures to you guys, but my God, it was bad.
Yeah.
No, physically, mentally, I was in a very poor state. And I wanted to start, rather than having a victim mindset, blaming everyone else, I wanted to take ownership and say, okay, I'm going to change myself for someone that I'm proud of, someone where I feel fulfilled. I showed the whole ikigai purpose thing. That was the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest credit I can give, because then that showed me what I like and what I want in life, the fulfillment I want in life. Went down this whole self-improvement journey, figured out that one of my fulfillments is I get joy from helping others, and that's just how some people are wired. That's where I get my joy. And cancer research has always been close to me because it's in family, whatever, stuff like that. And I thought, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
It fulfills my purpose in life. But there was always one thing missing, right? So I'm doing cancer research, and I failed to make it as a player, and there was this massive chip on my shoulder. I failed as a player. So I want to deal with that chip. I don't want to be a failure. I want to succeed in everything that I do now with this new mindset. And I said, I'm going to go back. I'm going to coach. I'm going to be involved in esports because I love it. I want to help the people there. And that's how I got into esports.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting because it's like two different perspectives of life, two very different ones as well.
Yeah.
You've got esports and you've got doctor.
not a doctor yet. Not yet. Couple more years maybe.
Yes, but moving on. Have you had any interplayer conflict?
Oh.
And how did you deal with it?
Yes, a lot. Now, in my experiences, there's no sort of one solution fits all.
Yeah.
It is very nuanced. It's very based on the person you're dealing with. It's based on the environment you're dealing with. Conflict in business will look different to conflict in esports. You're dealing with different personalities. I've had a lot of conflict. It's natural. Conflict is good. Yeah. Conflict is very healthy to progress people. Getting things that need to be said out, moving people in the right direction. It's very healthy, but there's a point. And depending on who you're working with, hopefully as a coach, you'll have a good idea of the personalities you're with, right? You have a rapport built with them. Some people are a lot more hot-headed. Some people are a lot more timid. Some people may shut down with conflict, so on and so on. Based on, again, in my experiences, this will be different from coach to coach, but based on my experiences, how you deal with people is based upon your relationships with them and how they are. How I deal with someone who's a lot more hot-headed is going to be different. Right. It's just based upon your relationships. For example, if I worked with someone that's hot-headed or very arrogant or very egotistical, you can, as an academic, you can read loads of different books on how to deal with that. But you basically deal with their ego. You pander to them. You want to make sure they're hearing what they want to hear. And you try and contain what's called their red state. Yeah. They're in a red state, which means they're not going to be thinking logically. They're going to be emotional. A lot of COD players are like that. They get very angry very quickly. They get very snappy very quickly. And you have to figure out ways to diffuse that. Even if you're just agreeing with what they're saying for the sake of agreeing, to get them down into a mindset where they can actually listen to an opposing view. And then that's when you start bringing in an opposing view and you make it so that they came up with the idea, stuff like that. There's different conflict management techniques. You can contain, you can parrot, you can do all these different things, which is very good on paper. Yeah. But in my experiences, there's no one shoe fits all. It's just once you build that relationship, okay, I can use certain elements of this, certain elements of that. You don't want to stick by the book. That is the one thing if I go back and I'll say to myself is, don't be so by the book, because the book is not going to coach for you.
Yeah.
Bring out your personality a little bit. How you are in esports will be different in other sports, so just don't be so academic and just learn in the moment.
Yeah, I think opening up to your players is a big thing as well. I think building that, you say rapport, I think like building trust, like being somebody they can talk to as well. I think it's a big thing. If we go on to the new season of COD, do you think you guys are going to be the number one contenders again this year?
We have to think that. We need to have the confidence that we have examples that show that. But credit to the guys. We've had a lot of meetings pre-season already. They know everything that we did last season.
Yeah.
We have to build on that. It's not enough. With every season, what works in the previous season may not work for the next season. Everything in-game, the work out of game, all of these different little things that add up, we have to double down. And in fact, we have to improve. Because we won so much last season, there is a big target on our backs. I know for a fact 4 or 5 franchises were saying we want to do what New York would have done.
Yeah.
Both in-game, out-of-game.
So you want to do better.
And we need to do better.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be hungry to win. We can't use last season as an excuse to start slow, to have this arrogance about us. We have a saying on New York, we earn our wins. We work hard for our wins. We don't expect to win. We don't expect it's going to be handed to us. We want to focus on the process, and in the process is when you win. And if we focus on that process, and then we've come in every day working hard, we're working for each other, we're giving it 110%, we're adhering to our cultures, our values, all these things that we talk about in pre-season, that's when we start to win.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great way to look at it. If we think about other teams coming into this new season, do you reckon that they've built rosters to challenge you and try and take that top spot? Or do you reckon the rosters that have been formed so far are nothing's really going to bother you?
You can, to be honest, COD is so day-to-day. COD is so event to event. COD is so day-to-day. Paper doesn't mean anything. On paper last year, Optic were by far the best team. Even in scrims, my God, they were so good. I think Octane said something like they won, 50-3 map count in scrims against LAT.
Yeah.
They were doing the same to us. We were getting smoked in scrims. But they didn't win a single event.
I think it comes down to consistency. Because they were so consistent online. They had, 2 5-0 runs.
Yeah.
And then when it came to the majors, it seemed that they got a bit nervous on LAN, or they just lacked the firepower they had online. Which do you think it comes down to where they were based? Because they're based in Texas. Do you think when they play against other teams, they just had the advantage?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Online is a very different environment to LAN. A lot more players. I'm not suggesting that there's a massive difference, but it's a lot more comfortable online.
Yeah.
But then also on LAN, it's so day-to-day on LAN. When you're on LAN, I don't know how to describe it. You're in a different gear, right? And even as me as a player, you can't replicate that same feeling at an event under the lights as you can online. Don't forget you're factoring in internet, and latency, all that sort of stuff, right? And because it's so day-to-day, if they're not firing on all cylinders because other teams or other teams are just better online, they're in a different gear, then same thing for this season. You can't just say there's clear-cut favourites that are going to win everything. Yeah, on paper, maybe. But like we see, paper doesn't win.
It doesn't win chips. It does not win chips.
We were ranked 11th on paper at the start of the season. Yeah. We won the first event.
Exactly. So. Let's talk a little bit more about New York. Going into this season, after winning the championship last season, you've dropped one of your players. You don't have to talk about it, but why would you drop one player when you've just won the biggest championship or the biggest event?
Yeah, I mean, the mindset that you need to have. Now, I know people may say, well, you've never been in this position before to go back to back. But the mindset that we have and it's been proven through the past year and the year before, is you need to constantly keep improving. This is the academic side of me that's coming out now. In every single book about high performance, when you look at all the high performing teams, there's a concept called going for the gap, right? Now, in order to consistently keep winning year over year, you have to consistently keep improving.
Yeah.
And Priest is a fantastic player, fantastic guy. But in our opinions, if there's an opportunity to get better, there's an opportunity to, we have potentially a top 5 player in the league. Don't forget, this guy that we've signed is gross. People are forgetting.
He is.
Yeah,
He's something else.
He signed for FaZe as a sub or something like that. Everyone was saying he's going to be one of the best players in the world. He has that potential. I have so much confidence that this guy will be one of the best players in the world, right? I understand the point of view from the community. Why fix something that isn't broke? I would argue if you have a potential to get better, yes, there's a certain risk associated with that. Why would you not take that risk in doing so, right? Yeah. When you look at the risk and you look at the potential value that you can get from Sib, it feels like it's worth it. Yeah. It feels like we're not going to be a bottom. Hopefully, touchwood. We're not going to be a top 12 team with this change, like dead last. Yeah. There's going to be a certain flaw to us. So instead of winning 3 out of 6, can we not try and aim for 6 out of 6? And let's not forget, every other team has got better around us, right? So we could potentially, we're in a situation where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If we kept Preston, let's say hypothetically we kept him and we don't win. Well, you should have made a roster change. Exactly. We make a roster change and we don't win. Well, you should have kept Preston. We're gonna make the decision where it feels like we can get better and we can keep moving forward and improve. Now, this is not a slight at all to Preston. If Preston was on this team still and the same thing didn't happen, fantastic. We'd still be chuffed.
Still be confident.
Yeah, still be super confident. But then there are opportunities in the scene once in a lifetime. Yeah. I'll say once in a lifetime. I'm dramatizing it a bit, but you have a talent like that is so undervalued by the community that we feel like we can mold into a top 5 player. We have to go for it. It's like, for my finance bros out there, it's like a stock. We have an undervalued stock, right? We think people are wrong about this. Yeah. You have to remember he wasn't in the best of circumstances in Seattle. Yeah. Still won an event. True. Still was disgusting. People are worried about, can he be a team player, blah, 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 blah. We can teach that. The team can teach that. The same thing was said about Preston last year. Yeah. Oh, I remember it vividly. Preston's not. Why are we picking Priester up? I'll tell you why. Because I watched maybe 14 hours of this guy, watched individually on a micro level how he's flowing, how he's filling, comms, everything like that. And I thought his pace is a perfect fit for this team. We've done the same with Sib, and we thought, you know what? This guy is talented. This guy is disgusting. And we're going to, the ability to pack a punch, we can do so. Now, if Sib wasn't available, Preston would still be on this team. Yeah. That's it.
No other player you'd make a change for?
No. I've always been a fan of Sib. Always. Yeah. And part of just a bit of insight in what we do, as part of our due diligence, again, this is forward planning and stuff like that, you have players on your radar, on your scout list that you keep an eye on, that you think are going to be good if they have contract negotiations. Because as part of insight for a team is you need to plan for next season, the year after, potentially the year after with contracts, right? This is something that we're doing. And you want to look for talent potentially out of their contracts and think, okay, how can he fit into us? COD is so year to year, so players may not be as good, but generally the good players will stay good year after year, year after year, year after year.
They have a certain ceiling, or a certain floor, I should say. Yeah. Not ceiling. Like the ceiling can always grow. Yeah. And new CODs come around, the more they play, the better they'll get. Yep. But they're never going to be worse than that floor. They're always going to get there.
So I have a theory. Usually players who completely drop off due to external circumstances. right? So whether they've fell out of love with the game, they don't want to put as much time, whether they become toxic, whether the environment is toxic, whether they want to move on.
Yeah.
There's usually you can always, when players fall off, there's always usually a catalyst to that, based on that. Or if they've got a toxic attitude. So with Preston, one of the reasons why I wanted Preston so much is Preston's won in every year.
Yeah.
Priester won in every single year, and we thought, this guy is this good, but why is he not performing? Could be a few reasons. Maybe he's just toxic.
Yeah.
Is he? I've spoke to him, and in the first 5 minutes, I knew this guy's not toxic. This guy's a team player. Or maybe the system he's on, the environment he's on, is maybe not the best for him, right?
Yeah, it's just not working.
Not working for whatever reason it may be. Maybe coaches, maybe environment, maybe players, whatever. So that's where I'm looking at it and I'm thinking there's a disconnect from intrinsic value to the value that he can bring. And there's the evidence for it, right? And there's an element of risk because you don't know if that's going to translate over. But I'd be comfortable taking that risk because I know there's something about him.
Yeah.
Same way with Sib.
I mean, if you don't take risks, you're never going to improve.
Nope.
I think another player that I think was incredibly underrated before he came to you guys was Kismet.
Yeah.
Where I think he was just something else, and then I'm so happy that you guys picked him up, and he got to show the world how good he can actually be.
Well,
and bring out that dog.
He is. I will always praise Kismet till the end of time. He is what I think a professional should be. Everything about him, his mindset, his discipline. He is a leader. Like, he is everything I think a professional should be. And it makes sense. He has a sports background and stuff like that. A bit of a funny story with that. He was, so in the Vanguard season, Kismet was a recommendation from Paul X.
Yeah, Paul.
Now, before I knew Kismet, and this is a lesson that people can take, like, form your own opinions.
Yeah.
Everybody in the scene was saying Kismet is X, Y, and Z. Very toxic.
Yeah.
Very this, very that. Don't sign him. Man, if we listened to other people's opinions and we didn't form our own opinions, we wouldn't have signed him.
Yeah.
That's the opinion I held because of other people. Spoke to him and I thought, wait. And we had trials at the time. I watched him play and I thought, wait, this guy is amazing. Wait, this guy is actually disgusting. He was coming. He was IGL coming. The way he was playing, he was quick. His teamwork. So when you watch a player, you have an idea of like how good they are from an eye test, like how the decisions he's making, like is he chasing red dots or how is he flowing, all that sort of stuff. I thought, bloody hell, how have we got this lucky for Kismet? I'm thinking, God damn, we got to sign him up real quick. Obviously, we made him do the rest of the trials.
Yeah.
But as sort of like
not to get the ego too high, you know.
I thought we have to sign him. So Paul was the first one we signed actually for the roster change.
Yeah.
Because we had such a disconnect in pacing on Vanguard, right? Two of our ARs were super slow and two of our subs were super quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you usually want your flex player to fill that pace. I prefer to have teams on the quicker side because it's easier to slow down, right? But when there's such a disconnect with pace, and then with pace there's teamwork and trading and waves and all this sort of stuff, it makes it more difficult to play. I thought, hey, Paul became available. He was frying on London. Paul X is so good. He's quick. We got to sign him. And Paul came to the team, and then we signed Kismet. And then,
Oh, no. And he's stuck around ever since.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Kiz. We've talked about Sib and Preston now.
Yep.
Let's go with Paco. I know from the talk you said you coached him in Challengers. What was the idea of signing him to New York? Did that come from you?
No. Actually, I wasn't on New York when he signed. I came afterwards, right? But Paco was in Challengers in his first year in Challengers. And mate, when you see talent, and what I mean by talent, you see the way he moves on the map, mechanically gifted, the way he plays his gunfights, the chances he takes, the decision making, the lack of. When you watch players, you can see when they hesitate, right? Put yourself in the shoes, you can see that. None of that. This guy knew what to do at every moment. Amazing. He was doing very well in Challengers. He was making a name for himself. He was getting accused of hacking. People said he was hacking, and I think Clay we sent some scrim footage to New York. I sent some English lessons to New York because English was a big question mark. And then I think Clay from then pushed that. Clay tweeted out something like Hydra is a god or something like that. And then, Clay took a chance. Fair play to Clay. Clay knows talent when he
Clay
sees it.
does know talent.
He knows talent. And I think it's a different topic we can get into. Clay's one of the closest things you'll have to a leader in esports. So then Clay found that, and then rest is history.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very happy for Paco. I think his breakthrough has been something that a lot of players, especially players from Europe, can look up to and be like, there is chances and there is opportunities. Because before that, sure, you've got like your Bances, you've got your other EU stars, but a lot of the scene is NA dominated.
Yeah.
And to see, like, especially with you as well last year, giving Wardy that chance, giving EU talent the chance is something that I think encourages the EU scene a lot. So that's nearly the whole team. We've got one more man.
I was going to say, I just wish he streamed more, to be honest with you, because Paco's story, his story coming up is almost like rags to riches.
Yeah.
Everything he went through as a kid, I'm not going to go into specifics, not my place to say, but the hardships he had to go through, I wish he could show that to the rest of the community. He would, if he showed a bit of vulnerability and he showed his personality, he would blow up. I genuinely think he would be the next face of COD. Wholeheartedly believe that.
So you had Scump, and now we've got Paco.
He has the entire European scene.
Yeah.
The French scene is massive.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
He'll have the Spanish scene with him, no doubt. He'll have Europeans with him, the entire region.
Yeah.
And he's very relatable in that aspect. He's not a player that had everything handed to him. He's not a player that was a pro since day one. Mate, he went through so much. Again, it's not my place to say. He went through so much, right? And I wish he could show that story to people. And more people would love him for that.
Do you know what? There's an idea for you. A nice little documentary on Paco.
We'll see. We'll see.
But we've got another player that's invested in his game, shall we say. We've got Big Caesar Skyz. Bringing him into the team, how did he change the dynamic for you?
He is... Wow. He is one of the most genuine, kind-hearted, always happy guys I have ever met. He's so selfless. He epitomizes everything I vision for New York. Him. He doesn't care about himself. He's always about other people first. Very outside of my team, very few people have that, like I have love for, like I do for him. He's incredible human, genuinely. I cannot say so much good things about the guy. He is a radiator of energy every single day. He is positive, he's happy, he's smiling, he's joking. He makes it enjoyable. He makes the process so enjoyable, because I'm telling you, as much as esports is a dream job, there are days when you're doing 13, 14 hours. It's not quite working. You're putting everything for the team. You're thinking, why the hell am I in the US? My family's back home in the UK. Because I'm alone, by the way. Right? This guy comes in and he makes me realize this is why I want to do what I do. He makes you want to work hard for that. He makes you want to die for the guy. I would jump in front of it and take a bullet for the guy.
He just radiates that positive energy.
Yeah. If I'd push him off the train tracks and die for him. That kind of loyalty. That's what he gives you, that with his energy.
Yeah. It sounds like you and New York just have that solid. It's like a family more than a team.
Yeah, it is. It's forced though. It's not. This is what very, very irritating about seeing this. A lot of people say we made team on vibes. Vibes. No, we made a team to win. Yeah. Right? We made a team to win. But you have to force the vibes, as we call culture, on the team, the expectations, what we accept, what we don't accept. You have to force it initially. They didn't all four join in a lobby and start vibing and dancing and screaming. No, everyone's very reserved. Everyone's got their own thing, right? Even Paco, even Kids on a previous team. But it's forced. The more you force it from leadership, this is how we expect you guys to behave. Team dinner's this, team dinner's that, movies X, Y, and Z. We do everything together. No back talking. You're not going to go in a team speak with Zuma and start talking smack about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or any of that sort of stuff. I'm not saying anyone hide. I'm just using it as an example. Yeah, I'm just using Zuma as an example because everyone knows Zuma.
Everybody does.
Yeah, no, we do everything together. We're very strict on negativity, stuff like that, and it's forced. And that's how you generate the vibes. You want it. Our jobs as coaches and leaders is we're trying to create a place where people want to come to work, man.
Yeah.
And you can have this whole debate about, okay, whose way is the best way, blah, 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 blah. But it's really dependent on the coaches and it's really dependent on the players you have. And if you have players where you can be a bit of a tough figure, like a Bill Belichick or Kobe or MJ, all these guys, then go for it, bro. It's science at the end of the day. People love environments where they can enjoy and work. So, yeah.
Yeah, no. So moving a little bit away from the professional side of COD just now, do you have any advice for students or anybody listening that is looking to start their journey in esports, being maybe COD or a different esports? How would you give them advice to help them continue in their pursuit?
Two things. First one is a general broad one that I covered in the presentation, soft skills. You need it. You need it. Everything that encompasses soft skills will help push you. The confidence to do things, to believe in yourself, or habit development, all of these different things. I'll give you a bit of an insight. One of the reasons why I in hindsight, it was so obvious why I'd never make it as a pro. Mate, I was scared to play 8s against certain players because I thought it'd affect my reputation if I didn't perform. Yeah. And in hindsight, I wish I was in them lobbies. I wish I had the confidence to do that. Yeah. Right? I'm looking back and I'm thinking, mate, this is so silly thinking about it. But that comes from your self-confidence, your self-image, your self-esteem, all that sort of stuff. So your development of soft skills, you are part of a team. You need to learn how to work as part of a team. And then secondly, networking.
Yeah, it's a friendship league, isn't it?
I'll go on record and I won't say it's a friendship league, but networking, like in anything in life, right? The ability to network with Sam and Nathan, and now I'm here. Again, don't be afraid to send some emails out or send some messages out and be friends. Be genuine about it though, because people can see if it's fake or not. And just network, just try it, just message people, play with people, get to know people, get your name out there. It's something that I struggle with, to be honest with you. I struggle to network quite a bit, and again, that comes from your soft skills. Yeah,
no, I think that's good. And just another question, more about yourself. What motivates you to get up every morning and continue doing what you do?
One is my purpose that we talked about. Another is discipline, to be honest with you. It's now I'm at a time where I'm getting up at the same time. Especially now when the season starts, I'll get up at the same time. Yeah. Whether I want to or not, discipline will force me to get up. Yeah. I'll have to get up. And this is kind of deep, but I want to succeed in everything. I don't want to fail. I don't want to feel... Okay, I embrace failure. You have to embrace failure. You're going to fail. You need to learn from failure. But it's that need to try and... It's that very primal need to succeed and the satisfaction of succeeding because I've failed before, right? I wanna succeed in something. I want to be the best that I can. Yeah. Because I failed before. So that is what pushes me to do stuff like this. Yeah. Outside of all the other reasons.
All the other stuff, yeah. Oh, it's very nice. It's nice to hear, and I guess it also gives a little bit of insight on everybody that wants to succeed, and especially the people that are scared of failing. Yep. You shouldn't be scared of it. You should, like you said, embrace it. Yep. Which is it's massive. Something for all the students here. What's a key piece of advice you'd give to someone, one of the students or any of the students, in graduating? Like you said, you've got a first, you've got an honours. Mm-hmm. What is a key piece of advice you'd give to someone that wants to graduate with something like a first?
adaptability and persistence outside of the usual soft skills.
Yeah.
Being adaptable. So esports is growing. There's going to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
In most industries, it's just a thing. With tech, with finance, it's going to happen, right? More so with esports. Until we get to that position where it is recession-proof. Be adaptable, be open, learn different things. You know, I've gone from coaching to now a management role. I want to learn the strategies of esports. I want to learn marketing strategy. I want to learn budget forecasting, budget allocation, time management, which is not really associated with coaching X and O's. But I want to, be more adaptable and then
always improving yourself.
Growth mindset is definitely one, but I count that as soft skills. And then persistence. Never give up. Never let anyone tell you no.
Yeah.
The only person's opinion that matters is yours. That's it.
Oh, I think that's a very good way to look at it. I think everybody here will appreciate hearing it as well. If we take some, let's have some fun questions, shall we? We've had the hard ones. Well, unless I think of any more. What's your top 5 foods? You're from the EU, or the UK, Manchester. You're now in the big world, like I'd say the US.
Oh, it's gonna be boring answers, mate. Steak.
Oh yes, it's a great one.
I love a good steak. I love it medium. I love chicken. I have chicken every day. Protein, Jesus. From the US, what do I like? Cheesecake.
Oh, cheesecake's a good one.
Factory. I love cheesecake.
Corn dogs.
No, none of that. I like a good Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, Ben and Jerry's is nice.
Good Ben and Jerry's. I'm just trying to not give you any boring answers. I'm just thinking of sort of what snacks wise.
Oh,
I love Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? On the like snacks, when I was in Australia, shapes.
What's that?
They're like AG will know if he ever listens to this, but they're like little biscuity crackers things, and they come in loads of different flavors. So you've got like your normal flavors, but you also get like pizza flavored ones.
Pizza flavored.
And they just when I came back, I think I had 4 boxes in my suitcase because I was like, you don't get them anywhere else.
Wow.
If let's go back to a bit of Call of Duty and esports. Let's get off the food. What's your favourite Call of Duty title?
As in competitive or
any?
Both? Should I give you both?
Yeah, give me both.
I think my favourite pub is Modern Warfare 2.
The original?
Original, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my favourite to play. Casual with the streaks and all that.
Yeah.
Competitive. Probably Black Ops 3.
Ooh.
Black Ops 3?
Yeah, I think Black Ops 3 was actually really good competitive. For me, my favorite. I'm gonna have to agree with you. My favorite pub, my first COD was Modern Warfare 2, and I was 8, might not remember it fully, but I do remember the abuse in the lobbies I used to get. But for competitive, I might have to put out Black Ops 4 for that.
Really?
I loved Black Ops 4 competitively.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for pubs, World at War was fantastic.
World at War was good. I went back and played it.
And Black Ops 1 was good too. So actually, I'd say between either Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2. And Black Ops 1 was very good because the streaks as well.
I liked how you unlocked stuff as well, where you had to earn the money by playing.
I like that. See,
that was good.
I actually really like that.
And then you had the wager games as well.
Yeah. And then competitive, I think I'll stick with Black Ops 3 for comp. I didn't really like Black Ops 2. Everyone says Black Ops 2, but...
I think it was a good pub game.
Mm-hmm.
But competitively, I wasn't the biggest fan.
I didn't. It's good. Yeah, I liked it, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it's my best.
Yeah.
Or favourite, rather.
Let's see. I think I might know the answer to this one. But what's the most memorable moment you've had so far in esports?
I'll say coach and player. Coach is champs, definitely.
Yeah.
I will never forget that. Most memorable as a player, qualifying for IW champs for the first time. It was done at Gfinity. We played one of the second seeds to qualify, and we qualified to a map 5.
Oh.
But the map 5 was not even close. It was 6-0. It was
Oh.
6-0. That feeling when you 6-0 a team map 5,
Especially when it's a team that's meant to be up
very
there.
good. Yeah. And then qualifying for champs, then realizing we've just qualified for the biggest tournament of the year. That's good. And then another one was Anaheim 2018. We placed top 16 or top 20, one of the two. And then being told I had the highest KD of Anaheim, or the highest slayer rating. I thought, wow, I'll never forget that.
So, I think most people that are into COD will know now that it is a franchise league just now, and it used to be anybody could qualify for champs when it was back in the COD World League days. It might be a bit spicy. You might not be allowed to talk about it. What did you prefer when it was CWL or CDL?
No comment. No comment. Pros and cons to both.
There is pros and cons. I think I can say what I want just now. I did like it when it was an open bracket and anybody could qualify. I think you got to see a lot more talent, and a lot of the challengers players got to play against a lot more of the pro league teams. I do like the franchise league. I do think it's good. I just think it needs to be expanded, and I think there needs to be more teams so more players get the opportunity. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think there's pros and cons, and I do respect that you can't comment on it. Let's think a bit more outside of gaming and esports. You must have lots of hobbies. What's your main one?
Go to the gym. Yeah. And then investments, property investing, stock investing, and then just trying to run a business. That's it. I don't know if that counts as a hobby. No,
I'd say if it's something you enjoy and you're doing, it can be considered.
Yeah, just that.
Yeah, no, that's good. If we go for maybe a couple more questions and then we'll nearly be there.
Yeah.
I know you said you started way down on the old consoles. What's the first game you remember?
Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh, it's a good one.
Nintendo 64, Banjo and Kazooie. Wow, what a game.
Yeah.
Still haven't completed it to this day.
Oh, no. Got to go back.
Yeah.
Get it all done. Let's go. One more. Let's go back to this season that's upcoming. What is the end goal, and what do you want to achieve this year with the team?
Win everything.
Yeah.
Win everything. That is the goal.
That's a great goal.
Just winning.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's been great. This has been Javaid, also known as DREAL, and myself, Gregor, also known as Vex. And I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to the podcast today. And thank you very much for coming. It's been great and very insightful. And I'm sure everybody has enjoyed you being here today as well.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure indeed. Thank you.